Good afternoon.
Hello.
My name is Dylan.
And I'm Zach.
And we are Some Nobodies. Now, what is Some Nobodies? We are a media and podcasting creating group based out of Colorado.
True.
And you are watching Talking Upstream.
Anyway, what Talking Upstream is a show where some nobodies come up with a couple ideas, and we bring them to the table, technically, and we kind of talk our way through one of the two ideas that we come up with each week.
Yeah. So, if you watched the previous week, which was our first episode, we brought one idea each to the table. I talked about a plant that could potentially grow like a meat substitute, and Zach talked about a support group for superheroes who have less than useful powers.
Which one, by the way?
Yes. We wound up choosing that idea. We used the whiteboard that you can see behind Zach to elaborate on that idea, choose some characters, choose a timeline, establish some plot points, and kind of plot out a mini show that we could produce or pitch to someone as a completed idea.
Absolutely. And we call it Talking Upstream because we're trying to talk our way up to a streaming service like a Hulu or Netflix or Dylan's favorite Quibi. That's pretty much the base of the show. Mm-hmm. Last week, like Dylan said, my idea won, which was the not so superhero support group. And at the end of the episode, if you can remember, we talked about how we're going to try to develop a scene or a trailer for that idea that we can get kind of a better idea of what we're trying to do.
Yep.
And moving forward, the beginning of every episode now, we're also going to have a guest helping us out. This week
we are going to welcome our friend and co-worker, Harrison Webb. And then slightly later, we will have Suzanne on as well to help us read. Harrison, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys?
Excellent. Doing well.
Oh, Harrison, you look great.
You do.
You got great.
Okay, and Harrison, we talked about for this whole week now, we've been working on this script for our not so super powered support group. We gave you a script for it, and I guess we'll just run through the scene real fast. Dylan's going to set the scene up, and we're going to bring in our other friend, Some Nobody's alum, Suzanne Grimmer.
Welcome, Suzanne.
Hello.
So, across the span of the week, I wrote a short script, which is a scene from the end of what we imagined the first episode being. Here you are. You can use that one.
Thank you.
This is set at the end. It is a pivotal scene for the series as it establishes that one of the characters has realized that the introduction of another character has impacted the potential lifespan moving forward. So we have a few different parts, and I will assign out parts here.
Cool.
I myself will be reading the stage directions, and for Dean Powers.
Okay.
Zach, Expiration Nate.
Excellent.
Suzanne, Voice of Reason. And Harrison, Man-Goose. Feel free to goose it up a little bit if you would wish to.
If you see fit.
Where I need to.
All right.
And if you want to recap the characters real fast of a summary of what they are.
So this is a series we worked on last week called Super Empowered, which is what we decided on over the week.
Yeah, Super Empowered.
Originally, not so super powered. Super Empowered feels a little more positive for the creation of these characters. At this point, Man-Goose has become kind of exposed to this group as it's his first meeting, and as we meet them on their way out of the meeting, Expiration Nate, who has the ability to sense the expiration date of various things that he tastes, realizes that the addition of this new member to the group may have impacted the lifespan of the people around him. Voice of Reason has the ability to persuade people. Dean Powers is the counselor. His ability is that he cancels out abilities within a certain distance of him. All right. If we are all ready, Harrison, how you feeling?
Fantastic.
All right, excellent.
Once again, you look great.
I will begin shortly. Fade in. Exterior. Church. Entrance. Night. Members of Super Empowered leave the church. As certain members exit Dean's null influence, their powers reactivate. The warm exterior lights show Expiration Nate and Voice of Reason walking arm in arm. The pair stop at the base of the stoop.
I think that was a good session.
It was fine.
You say that after every one.
And you say that after every one.
And I'm always right. You know that. And you've been very centered since we've come here.
You're right. This time. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm just feeling kind of amped. you want to stop somewhere on the way back and pick up some food or something?
I could get a beer.
She stops as her phone vibrates. She checks it and sighs.
Wait, dang. Sorry. I shouldn't tonight. Betsy's having a breakdown. I have to go rally the Life Trauma Lunch Bunch and rain check on getting a beer.
Yeah. When she's not having a breakdown, we can get a beer whenever. You can go play hero. Let me know when you're heading home. And we kiss. Mwah.
They kiss and start on their separate ways. Before they get far, Nate pauses and frowns.
Whoa. Wait up.
What's that look for?
Kiss me again.
Someone misses me already.
Yeah. Just. Sorry.
You're off script.
Read that wrong. Just kiss me again.
All right.
Nate kisses Voice of Reason again. It is functional and lacks any intimacy.
Yeah. Do you feel okay?
Yeah, I feel fine. Nate, what's going?
Are you smoking again?
Jesus, Nate, no. Just tell me what's changed.
You went from 14 years to just 9 weeks.
What?
When we kissed before meeting this afternoon, your date was 14 years out. Now it just changed to just 9 weeks.
What do you mean?
What he says sinks in.
Whoa. Okay, wait. Have you checked yourself?
Nate bites on a fingernail and his expression turns grim.
Oh no. It's 9 weeks too.
Okay, so what does that mean?
It means we should really be worried about something that happened while we were in there.
All right. Just wait. 9 weeks isn't too sudden. We can find out what's going to happen. We just need to see what's changed.
The door on the stoop opens behind them. Mangoose and Dean Powers descend the stairs. You're more than welcome to attend whenever you'd like, Frank. I don't require anybody be here unless it's under court order, which I don't think is the situation in your case. Well, in that case, I guess I'll see you next week, same time and place.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, great. I'm going to go back inside, so my field is going to go with me. Don't mind the transition; it can be a little jarring.
Thanks, Mr. Powers.
Please call me Dean. I'll see you next week. Dean goes back inside. A moment later, Frank sprouts feathers and a bill, becoming Mangoose once more. He waddles down the steps and passes by Nate and Voice of Reason.
What are you looking at?
Nate eyes Mangoose with suspicion, then shrugs.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week.
Frank leaves. Nate and Voice of Reason watch him for a moment.
Kiss me again.
Nate and Voice of Reason kiss.
You think?
Now it's 10 weeks.
The two of them watch Frank walk off into the darkness. Fade out.
And scene.
Scene.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne Gerber. Yay.
All right, Harrison, what do you think?
I like it.
Yeah?
The setup. I'm really excited.
All right.
We're gonna put one cliffhanger.
Yeah. This is probably going to be the last scene of that first episode, I think. There might be one afterwards with Mangoose, maybe. Depends on what we write for him.
Yeah, I think it's cool that the first scene be a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, good job though.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's riveting. Outside of my acting, which is not great.
Oh, don't worry about it.
But whatever. Okay, Harrison. So if you can hang out with us for a little bit, we do have a couple more ideas we're going to bring to the table, and instead of one of us picking, which I usually push Dylan over, we're going to have you decide which one we go down today, just so it's a little bit easier for us.
Yep. So this next step, Zach and I are going to present the ideas that we've brought this week. We are going to discuss them briefly. We're going to write down them on the whiteboard, and then we are going to have Harrison weigh the opinions and choose one for us to further develop, and then we will continue the process that you saw last week on that episode. All right. So I went first last week. What did you bring this week?
We were talking about a lot of superhero stuff this week, but I have to say the thing that's been kind of in the back of my mind is your idea from last week, actually. The idea that a plant can make some kind of meat. That's really kind of sticking with me, and I think I have some pretty cool ideas for that.
Are we allowed to recycle each other's ideas?
That's a good idea.
All right.
That's fine.
All right.
All
All
so
right.
I'm gonna write that down if that's cool.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
He's scooping me. This is. I don't know if this is okay.
Hey, an idea is an idea.
I guess that's true. Good artists steal. Great artists steal more. That's not how the saying goes. Don't quote me on that.
All right. So obviously, plant makes meat.
All right.
I like that. I think we're gonna go somewhere with that.
Cool. It grows it. We don't know.
Somehow
It's
it grows
not-
it of something.
All right.
I'm gonna make a little drawing here while you're talking.
Sure. So I've fallen kind of back into, because we're wrapping up our science fiction show, I've fallen back into the fantasy genre I'm really familiar with. And I thought, a lot of people were talking about Harry Potter this week. I was thinking, what if we did like an American kind of like 80s dark comedy of Harry Potter?
Ooh. Okay.
Like
So,
it's,
what do you mean by dark comedy?
Heathers.
Oh,
But we do Heathers in a magic school.
Greetings, salutations.
Yes.
Heathers in a magic school.
Yeah.
Now give me a cool twist with that.
So, you have your clicks. It would probably be just exaggerated through the presence of magic. Not necessarily Harry Potter style with the wands and everything, but at least they have some abilities that they can test. It might be closer to X-Men than full magic, but we're going to call it magic. And I figured closer to Heathers than Breakfast Club. And what if they... So have you seen those videos of hermit crabs where they hop shells? You introduce a larger shell into a hermit crab environment, and one of them scoops up into it, and then they all kind of conga line into it?
Yeah.
What if it was that, but they accidentally kill a professor and they put the wrong spirit into the body?
So they have a dead body, and the wrong spirit gets into it, and then they have to, I guess, fix that.
They probably have to fix it, or they have to prevent it from being discovered because finals are coming up, and
So then you're going to splash it with some Weekend at Bernie's.
there's potential for Weekend at Bernie's style stuff in there. The body's up and walking around by its own volition,
Okay.
but it's not its volition. It's the volition of whatever spirit is inhabiting it.
That sounds very interesting.
All right.
Then okay. So then we have Wizard High School, which is a Heathers meets Weekend at Bernie's meets
A little bit Harry Potter for flavor.
a little bit of Harry Potter. Then we also have Plant Makes Meat, which
Is this fair because Harrison's a vegan?
why?
I shouldn't impugn Harrison's honor.
Oh,
I think he's
I
unbiased.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so Harrison, it's up to you. Do you want to see us talk about a plant making some meat, or do you want to see us talking about some sort of weird Wizard High School Weekend at Bernie's breakfast clubby thing?
Well, I've had a proclivity for Heathers, Christian Slater in the leg, and also Harry Potter. That was kind of my namesake as well. So I'm thinking in with the Wizard High School.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential with this.
Well, that sounds really cool.
Plant making meat, but
I knew you were a nerd.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, so then we're gonna go ahead with the Wizard High School.
Apparently we can recycle ideas, so I will introduce Plant Makes Meat next time.
Well, it's my idea, so you can't. All right. So that one's out, and the winner,
All right.
Wizard High School.
Cool. I'm not going to lord it over Zach because I'm the bigger person here.
Well, I'm 6'3", so you're not.
Yep. All right. Hey, thank you, Harrison. We appreciate you joining us.
Awesome.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having
much,
me.
Harrison. See you very soon, buddy.
love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. All right.
Okay, perfect. So that was
Cool.
Harrison. Wanted to thank him once again. He is part of the roster of Some Nobodies.
You can hear his voice on Silicon Angels, Season 1, which is finishing up this next weekend.
Yeah, actually, almost anything we do, you could probably hear Harrison's voice doing
he's
it.
very good.
If you go to somenobodies.com, you can actually see or hear everything that we are making. And you can see, I guess, now the progress of Super Empowered, which we're going to start working on. Thanks to everybody who kind of helped us out last week.
Appreciate that.
Mark Lee, real quick shout out. Thank you very much for showing up. Mitch Webb, obviously a nerd. That's cool. Okay, so
Cool.
let's talk about Wizard High School.
All right, Wizard High School. So this is going to be in America, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Localized.
It seems like a lot of wizard stuff is usually in like England or some foreign place for some reason. So
Yep.
I think an American style school is very cool. But you know what I haven't seen though? I haven't seen Southern wizards, like wizards from the South, and I think that's very funny. And I've never seen it whatsoever.
Okay. I was thinking kind of Midwest, but that's because I grew up in the Midwest. I think South is probably going to introduce a little bit more culture.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so I think Midwest school is pretty funny too, but I think that I'm going to vote for South.
I'm totally fine with setting this in the South.
Yeah.
It's fun.
All right, cool, excellent.
All right.
So we're going to go Southern.
We'll figure out where this will give us kind of like a genre, somewhat. There's something to be expected from a school in the South.
All right, so a Southern school. Now, you see a lot of schools, or at least you see schools where it's like one style of magic.
Yeah.
It's Harry Potter style, like, with the wand, or what's another style of magic?
I mean, what genre are we going for? Are we talking like...
Well, I'm just saying, what are the most obvious genres of magic?
The ones that people are probably most familiar with would be Harry Potter, which is wand, Latin, potions, arithmancy, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Second most popular would probably be Dungeons and Dragons style. If you're aware of the genre conventions, it's called Vancian magic.
Okay.
And after Jack Vance, he wrote a series called The Dying Earth, in which people had spells that would live in their head, and then when they cast that spell, they would forget it. So you have slots.
Cool.
So you spell slots, and depending on the style of spell, it takes up more than one, or you have tiers of slots. And then there's just kind of like wild magic, where magic can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
The thing about the fantasy genre like this is that there tends to be two styles of magic you can do. Soft magic, which is light on rules, high on effectively plot advancement. And then there is hard magic, which is more explored as a science. Soft magic would be honestly kind of like Harry Potter, because there's not a lot of rules given beyond the name of the spell and what they do.
Yeah.
Hard magic would be The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, where magic is studied as a science. And if I break this pen in half and I make them sympathetic to each other, lifting one end lifts the entire thing and it weighs as much as a single pen. That sort of thing.
Okay.
I like the idea that kids at the school probably practice all sorts of magic.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that when you were speaking. I was thinking that what I also haven't seen, since if you're going to try to do, I think, a wizard story, I think it's very important to stay away from very popular things.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Then you start getting to, well, that's Harry Potter. No. So I think it would be very cool to see, similar to like a Votech style school of magic, where there's many different styles of magic, and there's teachers for every style that help that style.
It's like a magic trade school.
Like a magic trade school, yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's very cool. All right, are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with
that. All
that.
right, excellent. Let's go with that then. Keep talking.
Yeah, so we've got a magic trade school in the South. I think we just kind of say magic does what we needed to do. This doesn't seem like an ongoing series. I say we make this like a limited series, like HBO style, like limited to like 6 or 10 episodes.
Yeah, now, once again, if you know what some nobodies do, we don't have a lot of budget. So we try to make things with how we think they're best suited for what we can do to effectively tell the story.
We have zero budget, effectively. We do have a slight budget, but we do not have a budget for special effects or much filming or a whole lot of spectacle.
Right. So when it comes to magic, if you're not going to show it or show it well, I think the best thing to do to create imagination would be to make this an audio drama. I think that's pretty cool.
We're still on the podcast train. I'm totally fine with that.
That's okay. It's easy for us.
Yeah, it's fine.
I have a file of sound effects.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go with audio drama. I think that's very cool.
Audio drama, it's a limited series.
So it's not something that's going to have multiple seasons.
Nah.
Unless something happens and we really enjoy these characters or this setting. But now, so we do have a setting, though.
Yes.
So we have a magic trade school in the South.
I think that's good for now.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what's the story that we're trying to build within this?
The plot points I'm imagining, you have...
Because you talked about the possession.
Yes.
Which means death.
Yes. So let's say we meet the students.
Right.
We meet the professor. I think they should like the professor. I think he's going to be a nice guy. I think he's going to be a nice professor. I think they're going to like him.
Now, when you say students, do you want to do this as a freshman setting, or do you want to do it like as a senior setting?
I say always go senior, because it's like the last semester they have before they go into the magic world.
Then they also have talents.
They are skilled, and we have the option of having them be kind of like, we don't have that fish out of water element, which we could, but I think if we have a new student, that's enough fish out of water to provide that window we talked about last week.
Yeah, because the one thing that we really don't like when we're watching movies or television is when you can see that there's a window character, but then there's a lot of weird exposition that's going around that, which doesn't really make any sense. They're telling somebody who, in the story, should know all this information. So that's why what Dylan was saying was we have a new person in the school, that way we can give them exposition on the story that we're trying to create, while also showing / listening to.
Maybe they're homeschooled and they finally got transferred in for their last semester to get like certified or something.
Oh, that's
perfect. So they're all surprised that they are very skilled at this, but they also make fun of them by calling them like a hedge witch or something, which is an old term for the village witch who would historically mix potions, but in magic tends to be like a low skilled practitioner of whatever magical art. So we got a homeschooled student, they're the window. I say 2 or 3 students that they immediately meet and become very bonded to, and that's the group. C1, C2. I say we have the professor.
Mm-hmm.
They are probably kindly, I imagine them probably like Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society. Stand on your desks. He is at least like well liked by the student body. That way it gives them a reason to really want, not just, we're going to get in trouble, we have to bring this guy back, but we like this guy and he deserves to be brought back.
Yeah, I love all that. Now, if the window character is going to be new to the school because they are homeschooled, then I guess the start of our story would be obviously her entering to the school.
Sure.
So we're going to say that would this make more sense to be the start of a new year or coming after a mid-break, which seems kind of odd to have a mid-break senior show up. So
I mean, I remember high school, we had people transfer in halfway through the year.
Okay.
And it could be maybe their parents are very like particular about it, but you can't get a license or whatever without officially having a school unless you get your like wizard GED.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So
Mid semester, that gives them a certain amount of a very close window before finals to get this figured out.
So this is like a January setting after holiday time.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
Love
marshy. Depending on where we are, it's kind of like cool, but it's not warm.
Okay, perfect. So now our timeline starts.
All right. Are we going for 6 or 10 episodes? Or are we going for some other number? Something weird.
Let's see what the story dictates first. So we're going to say this is January.
Sure.
And we know that the end of school year, anyway, without being the end of the timeline, is like a June.
I guess it depends.
But I would say that if we're telling a story that is what you're talking about, it's going to be a very short
it's a short window.
timeline. So I say, is this like a week?
Maybe that first stretch, as we get to know them, can be told over the first half of the semester.
Okay.
And then the big thing happens at midterms. Do you have midterms in the middle of a semester or before the semester break? I don't remember.
I think you have finals.
You have finals at the end,
Right?
And the beginning, or okay. So it'll be midterms.
Mm.
Let's say it's a midterm is like the moment where we kind of boot back into the story.
Okay.
I say that first episode covers either the first 1 or 2 episodes covers the first half of that semester, where we get to know them, we get to know the school, we get to know the professor.
So first half of the story is 3 months.
Sure. Yeah. Not quite 3 months. We're talking January to June.
That's 6 months.
It's about 5.
Okay.
Whatever.
So this is 2.5.
Close enough. Yeah, sure.
Sure. We'll say 2 months.
Sure.
So then that means the full spectrum is a 4-month thing.
Yeah.
All right. So then we're going to say till April.
Yeah, why not? We'll say until April. Because
Cool.
if this is going to be, and I kind of want to evoke that school kind of like Heather style story where it starts partway through school and then the big climax and denouement is at the end of the school year and we get like a kind of a goodbye thing.
Okay.
We might as well ape as many of these tropes as we can.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to wizard stories.
Yeah.
You want to kind of go trope heavy. Just be...
The thing about genre is that genre works when you indulge in those tropes, when you
Right.
really take those story beats and you write them.
Yeah. When you steal ideas or just mimic ideas, that's when you're like, this is tropey. But if you take normal story beats add a little bit of modern twist and some uniqueness, then you usually come up with something pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a basic setting, and would you say that the professor dying to be repossessed, is this the crux of the story, or is this kind of like the push of the story?
I'd say it's probably the inciting incident. Like,
All right, so it's kind of early on then.
It's early on. Everything, I say that they have kind of like, it's the last semester of our senior year in school. We don't really have to do a whole lot except pass our finals, and we know we're going to pass our finals. I don't think any of these characters are going to be incompetent.
No.
I don't like incompetent characters.
And there's no point. They're
no
seniors
point.
in a school,
Yeah.
and kids
We're
are
setting
smart,
them as seniors specifically so that they are skilled at what they do.
intelligent students.
Yeah. So have it be partway through when, let's
Is
say
this
they're responsible for it.
Now, is this... Love that.
Yeah.
I think that's very cool.
Accidentally. They don't intentionally kill this guy, but something they do winds up with this
Yeah, and it's their
corpse
favorite
devoid
character.
of spirit.
And if it's their favorite teacher, then they're going to really go
Yeah.
at it to fix this. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, would you say the death of the professor is like the cliffhanger of episode 1, or is this like a mid-season thing? And then you
It's
kind
not mid-season.
Okay,
this
so it's
is
early.
this is the problem they are trying to fix.
So
This is the like phone call at the, I say, end of episode 1.
love it.
So we get a cliffhanger really strong right at the start.
So we're gonna have like maybe an hour-long episode.
Hour long works.
Just so, well, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking. So if episode 1 is an hour long, you have to introduce the world. You have
Yeah.
to introduce
Yep.
all of your characters,
Yep.
and then you kind of have to give a bit of an inciting push to make sure that people want to listen to part 2, but also understand where the story
Yeah.
is trying to go. At least the first bit of an arc or a hump.
And it's at least important for the first episode to hook them early on. So
I like that being the end of 1. That's
Yeah.
compelling. All right, so episode 1, which is somewhere in January,
Yeah.
we're gonna say this is the teacher's death. Oh, what an ugly marker.
ugh, it's not great.
Nope. Red's done.
All right, that's fine.
Keep going.
So yeah, so they are responsible for, if not actually caused, the death of everybody's favorite teacher, which should be enough for the first episode to be like, oh no, ... next week on whatever we're calling Magic School, but
Yeah.
everybody's kind of mean. So,
So then
yeah.
we're going to have to go through a time where I would assume, so it's a teacher's death.
Yep.
We have to get to the first resurrection, which is probably going to be the negative resurrection, correct?
yeah.
Now, how many episodes do you think past this? So we need to have an episode 2, which is going to be exposition, some character building, and team building.
Yes. So episode 1 is the death. Episode 2, I say we end episode 2 with the false resurrection.
Nice. Just going to go fast. I love it.
Episode 3, do we want to end episode 3 with them learning that it was a bad one? Episode 3, everything seems to have returned to normal. They go back to senior pranks. They're doing a senior prank on the school, why not? Or some other kid. And then something the professor doesn't quite mesh with how he acts normally. And one of the students has a realization like, wait a minute, we did something wrong, or there's some sort of weird star thing going on. He's not acting like the professor. What if we brought a different ghost into the body?
No, I love that. I think that's very cool. But I think that if we're going this fast, it looks like we're kind of popping off pretty quickly. So I think that we're looking at probably like a 6 episode.
6 is good.
Because then you're
Yeah.
kind of thinking you're looking at like a 6-hour movie, which I think is enough to...
That's good. And 6 gives us very easy divisions into the 3 arc structure. So you're looking at a 3 arc structure right here, potentially,
Yeah.
which is that rising action, which ends with your character's entry into the wider world, which is represented in this case by a problem. You have the second act, which features them attempting to fix it and winding up in a darker place. Think of that like the end of Empire Strikes Back, which is the most classic modern example of the second arc of a 3-arc structure, is Star Wars. Star Wars is that act. Luke leaves his small world behind and joins a bigger world. The bigger world acts upon him and winds up in a bad place. And then the third act is climbing back up and resolving it, or not having it resolved if you want to end on a downer ending.
Yeah.
I think if this is going to be a limited series, we give it a concrete ending. I don't think we come back to this one,
2,
unless
3,
we do a
4, 5,
different
6.
story with different characters in this setting.
No, I love a very closed story. I think 6 episodes tells it all. I think
Yeah.
what you're saying makes sense.
Okay.
So we have the teacher's death, episode 1.
Okay.
We have the teacher's resurrection.
What if the teacher's resurrected partway through 2, and then the end of 2 we have the reveal of the false one?
Yep.
Okay. Teacher bad. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, part 1.
For those of you just joining us right now, this is Talking Upstream. My name is Dylan. At the whiteboard is Zach.
Hey.
We are Some Nobodies, a podcasting and media production company based out of Boulder, Colorado. We are using this whiteboard and the next 60 minutes to develop an idea from baseline concept into workable, pitchable product. Potentially. It's not going to have like a script or anything, but it's going to be something that we can take to someone and say, this is what we have planned out. We have this length, we have these story beats, we have these characters, we have these needs.
I love it. And what we brought to the table today, just to kind of recap in case you missed the beginning, is I brought to the table the idea of a plant that kind of makes meat somehow. Probably Venus flytrap that eats something. I'm not really sure. And then what Dylan brought to the table was a Wizarding High School, which is like a Heather story meets
Harry Potter.
a Harry Potter.
That's the easy one.
Meets a bit of a Bernie Weekend at Bernie's. We're going to figure that out
Yeah.
soon. And just to kind of recap you what we came up with so far, we have a Southern-based magic school that is similar to a trade school because there's going to be different forms of magic. I think that's compelling to have a team of high schools or high school seniors that all have a different form. That way they kind of have to help each other to work their style of magic. We have it a January setting, which is going to be right after the holidays. We felt the basic timeline should be about a 4-month timeline, which gives them right before their finals and right before all the bad stuff of their senior year. We are going to try to encapsulate the story and really just close it. We're going to have a finite ending to it. So far, the characters that we came up with, we have our window character, which is going to be a high school student, which used to be a homeschool student. So this is their entry to the school, which is where we're going to learn a lot of the rules and the settings. We have a couple more characters that we haven't talked through yet, and we do have a professor that everyone is really a big fan
They're a fan of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're the professor that like impacts your life. You think about them at your like 10-year reunion. You're like, hey, where'd Mr. I don't want to use a real example.
Well,
I don't
there's just
expect
names. It doesn't matter. We'll get to names
Nah.
soon. And what we decided was the push of the story, the crux of the story, is going to be that their favorite teacher dies through an act of theirs, I would assume, and gets repossessed by the wrong spirit, an evil spirit.
Somehow the wrong spirit gets into this body and wants to cause mayhem or just live.
Yeah.
They just like being alive.
They want to be alive. Why not? So
maybe
it gets up right to where we are.
maybe the reveal at the end of 2 is like his teaching style drastically changes.
Oh yeah, love that.
And like he goes from being very earnest and very like fiery and very like long eloquent soliloquies into like feet on the desk, read your chapter 1s, sunglasses down.
Ooh, love it.
He's played by Glenn Howerton from
And he's
Always
like
Sunny in
eating,
Philadelphia.
he's eating things that he hasn't had in a while, but
Yeah,
are probably old
yeah.
stuff.
Cool.
So
All
the
right.
teacher changes.
Teacher changes at the end of 2 and they get called out on it.
4 bads.
Cool.
Cool.
I think 3.
So the 3 would be
Yeah.
the reveal that the teacher's bad.
I think 3. They process the idea that he has been resurrected poorly.
Oh, okay.
They have their panic.
And then the decision to re-kill their teacher.
It could. I don't know how I feel about them re-killing this guy.
I mean, he's got to get back in there.
He's got to get back in there. If we make it so that this era of time is like very, very, I don't know the word, very, very conducive to spirits moving around, it could just be like
Oh,
they have
so
to
people
do-
can just swap in and out of dead bodies.
potentially,
Okay.
and they have to just like pull it out and get the right spirit in. I think 3 is when they contact the teacher again. Maybe they have like poltergeist signs where like a book falls off a shelf and opens up to a page with like
Oh.
a chapter title, which is
So the teacher's
Put me back or
spirit is
something.
still around.
teacher spirit's still around, and
like
he's
that.
trying to get signs to them that he needs back in his body, or at least that he's not in his body currently.
So then this would be the good teacher's ghost teaming up with our friends.
This is when they make contact with each other. Yes,
So contact.
I think one of these characters or one of the side characters needs to be like a medium or like a necromancer of some sort.
Well-
So that way, they have to like find someone who can communicate with the teacher's spirit easier than just, here's some letters on the floor, arrange them in a way that makes sense, and then they just fly across the room.
Yeah, and I think the medium character makes sense if you want to talk about our window character, because they would have been homeschooled, so they would have learned a different style of magic or something a little more passionate. So I'm cool with making the window character the medium.
Be the window character be the medium? Potentially, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are our next two characters then?
I say, so if the window character is new to school, and they are, I think, sheepish, at least, I think fish out of water slightly,
That makes sense.
but I think they learn very early on that they are competent compared to their peers.
Mhm.
I think having someone for them to kind of butt heads with might be a good idea, but someone to show them around.
Yeah, but also someone who's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Because they're going to need to be teamed up with them.
Cool slacker.
You always need one,
Cool
especially in high
slacker.
school.
Also, CS, Cool Slacker, Christian Slater. Circles and circles, we're doing it.
Nice.
He's voiced by Christian Slater. We'll get him on.
Well, at least deep fake him.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Harrison back. Harrison's very good at impressions.
Yeah.
If you listen to some stuff on Some Nobodies, you'll hear Harrison a lot without knowing.
Harrison, if you're watching, don't joke yourself. You know you're going to want to be involved.
And Mitch, if you're watching, step it up.
Yeah, I see your comment. Anyway. So we've got the Cool Slacker. Do we have the bookworm? I mean, does it make sense to have... So we have the Cool Slacker. We have the homeschool student who doesn't quite fit into how things are being done but can do it.
Yeah.
Do we want the bookworm to be that like mediating factor?
Yeah, like the shy but...
We're doing ego, super ego here?
Sure.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so this is the shy but positive, but definitely on her on
I think
Windows.
bookworm is probably good enough a
All right,
description
we'll
for
keep
right
that
now.
right there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we have the cool slacker, we have the bookworm.
Cool.
Okay, so let's get back to the timeline.
Yeah. So 3 is when they fully realize that they've messed up. We see the fallout of them realizing their mess up, their failure. And they get in contact with the professor.
Yeah, love that.
Do we end it with them?
I think ending that one with contacting the spirit is a very cool and intriguing reveal.
So let's do some retconning slightly. Let's not make the homeschool student the medium. Let's make them have to go to someone to be the medium.
Well, I think that if they were the one people had to go to, it would push her character into the group.
True, but if she's involved from the start, I don't know why it would get to this point if she is already sensitive to spiritual matters.
So
Would she not be able to sense the wrong...
Is she the one who kills the teacher?
She's definitely involved in it. I think these 3 are like...
I think if she kills the teacher accidentally, then that would make sense for a different character to be a medium.
I think these 3, I think they get roped up into Cool Slacker's schemes, and one of his schemes goes wrong. Because it's a magic school, so things backlash. Whiplash?
Sure.
Things have backlash. Magic has backlash to it in a lot of genre.
So then we're going to introduce a new character.
Yeah. Let's have a character. They have to get in contact with them in order to deal with this. What if she's like
Which is the medium.
What if the medium is like a TA for this professor, and she notices that something weird is going on?
Ooh, I like that.
And these main three have to go find the medium to kind of communicate with the guy's spirit, and then the spirit's like, yeah, you messed up, and you have until the moon is in whatever position or the stars are aligned to get me back into my body, or I'm screwed for the next 7 to 500 years.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. So then end of 3 is going to be contacting the dead professor.
Contacting the spirit. What if we have a little scene where the bookworm is like, hey, Christian Slater, what about we go to What's-Her-Face? And he just goes, I don't want to deal with that. And it's like, what do you mean? We're not on good terms. We dated for like 2.5 years, and it was a messy breakup. And so he has to he has to contact the ex.
So Christian Slater used to date TA.
Yeah.
She's the medium.
Yeah.
So he has to... Okay, yeah, great. And is that in 3 or is that probably in 4?
I think that's all. I think that's all 3. I think it's like.
So then...
If we're doing hour-long episodes, the
Yeah.
first third is them confirming that they've got the wrong spirit in. The second third is them being like, we've been seeing these signs. We need to get someone who can really interpret them. What about your ex? And he goes, well, okay, I don't like it, but I guess ultimately we have no reason not to, or we're going to be expelled. And potentially worse, messing with the dead in magical genre stuff tends to be a very high offense.
Yeah.
So who knows if this is like bordering on like a capital offense or like a federal crime, magic-wise.
So you gotta keep a hush.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool.
So the last third of the third episode is them convincing the medium to help them out. She holds a seance. They contact the professor, and the professor confirms, you have this long to get me back in where I need to be.
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah, love it. And that sets the clock.
That's the clock. Do we want the clock starting partway through 3? I think that's okay.
Well, I think that sets the clock to the finish.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
yeah.
this is like kind of a lot of building and a lot of whatever. This sets the finite clock. Okay, so that means that. So what we're gonna have to do by the end of the story is we have to eventually get the correct spirit into the teacher's body. We have to, I guess, fight the evil spirit because this is a story. So
yeah, we at least have to
at
have
some
like,
point.
a conflict and clash.
Then that means we got to figure out what the evil spirit's looking for.
Okay.
I'm not sure if just living then would support them fighting this thing, unless the fight is to get the spirit out.
To start, maybe the spirit to start is just happy to be alive again, and then they realize like, oh wait a minute, it's
friends.
a spiritual window, and I have the capability to keep myself in here. I don't know why I wouldn't just leave.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next episode is going to have to be the team joining up with the spirit to figure out how to solve the issue.
What if the medium like invites the professor's spirit to like ride along with her?
Oh, into her body.
Partial possession, where she's like, the window's open right now. This is going to be weird, Professor, Sir. We can't keep holding seances. I'm just going to have you ride along. Partial possession?
That's too many S's?
No, you did it. Good job. You're getting better.
If you guys don't know, Dylan's the writer. I'm the talker.
Yeah.
Okay, so partial possession is going to be part of episode 4.
Yeah.
So if we break this into 3s, is this the first part?
First part.
Cool.
We could have a little bit of comedy here, just broad comedy, where he is like reacting to being a ride share effectively.
Sure. Yeah, love that.
I say part of 4. I say in 4 the real world intrudes back. Like they've had the focus on this being for the first half, and then in 4 they have to deal with like maybe Cool Slacker is dealing with like Jock. Maybe the Jock picks on the bookworm.
Is the Cool Slacker also the jock?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We're not doing Harry Potter.
Good.
He's not a jock and he's not a cop.
No.
That's what Harry Potter's about, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
get off your box. Okay, so what's the middle third of part 4 then?
I say the middle third of part 4 is that the bully in some capacity, at least the antagonist student, gets embroiled in what's going on here. Maybe he's been causing him trouble throughout things, and they've always kind of shrugged him off, like, hey, we're dealing with bigger stuff right now. And then he shows up in the middle part of 4, and he goes, nah, we're talking about that last time you gave me the wrong test answers.
Okay. So C4, new character, and that's the bully.
Yeah. And bully
And
is more...
what's their main motivation?
Bully is more a role that he is fulfilling in the narrative. He's not strictly like picking someone up by... He's not Biff Tannen.
Sure.
He could be Biff Tannen.
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with either way.
We need to bring the name Biff back.
We do. His name could be Biff.
It's gotta be.
Alright. So Biff... oh, this is weird.
I don't like it.
Nah. Alright, we tried it.
Yep.
Part of creating ideas and part of this process is trying something and realizing it doesn't work and scrapping
Yeah,
it.
just get it out of there. It doesn't work.
So Bully comes back. Maybe they have a history of messing with each other.
We probably gotta plug Bully into here somewhere.
What if episode 1 we pretend that the main plot is this rivalry between Bully and Cool Slacker to prank each other
Okay.
or prank teachers. If their goal is to like cause their teachers the most stress they possibly can, then we would probably be pretty good at having it be like a prank on the favorite professor went wrong.
Sure. And then I guess part of 2 is going to be assuming that it was the bully who killed the teacher, finding out that it.
We could
was
have, yeah, we could have that part.
Yeah. So we're gonna say this
Okay.
is bully accused.
Bully blamed or accused. Yeah, cool. And then they find out pretty early on into
Yep.
it's not his fault.
Nope.
We messed up. We drew the rune wrong. We used the wrong type of newt.
Runes and newts. I like
Runes
that.
and newts. Newts and Runes is going to be the name of our supernatural rap duo.
Or at least our video game, our cartoon video game.
Run the rules, run the runes.
Oof. we're not good enough to do that.
No, we'll get Jared to make us a beat.
Yeah.
Whenever he's
Okay,
up to
so
it.
what's gonna be the end of 4 then? So now the bully gets involved,
Yeah.
and I would assume, are they going to be that kind of bully where they fold into the group and then be like, "Hey, you weren't bad the whole time"?
I think we've already done that with the medium. We kind of folded the medium into group, and because she used to date Cool Slacker, they already have that semi-antagonistic nature to him.
Cool.
What if we have the bully get teamed up with the bad guy in some way?
Yeah, like that. And then he, I guess, allows other evil spirits to possess him occasionally, the way that the medium did.
We could. That does make the medium a little less unique.
Well, multiple people can do
That's
magic.
True. That's fair.
Okay.
Maybe the medium Oracle Necromancy School is very small and specialized.
So then the final disc is going to be the bully teams up with the bad guys.
I think the bully realizes the truth, and instead of reporting them, he's like, "Nah, I'm in.
Let's do this. So this is
I'm gonna get more out of this than I am out of the school."
So bad guy team up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
And so this is going to be a more straightforward narrative. So we're gonna have like over-the-shoulder points of view. We're gonna have like shifting perspectives. We're going to have scenes occur which the audience knows that the other characters don't.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. I'm into that.
All right. Yeah, we're not
Um,
doing that right now. We don't have anything like this going on.
Yeah, true. I like that.
All right.
Okay,
So-
so
End of 4 is bad guy team up.
yeah, I like that. Bully's involved, and then so we
5 in 5 we need to up the stakes. Or in 4 we can have the bully team up. Well, no.
I like that. The beginning of 5. If you want to up the stakes, one of these could die, and if they can resurrect, then they could possibly come back.
Then it is slightly cheaper. That's true.
Cheaper, but it could stick.
Death is cheap as an idea.
I'm gonna say bully has to die.
You think bully dies?
Well, not the up the stakes die, but I would
Oh.
say that at some point maybe they give their life up because one of these people die, and the bully realizes like, oh, this is too big for me.
What if...
I don't want to sacrifice their own life.
What?
I said I don't think they should sacrifice their own life. I'm not sure about that.
No, the bully... no, what if the bully... What if the spirit in the professor is like, yeah, you can help me out, and then kills him and puts one of his buddy ghosts into the bully's body, and his eventual goal is to bring back his team.
Okay, so the bully kind of almost gets killed by the bad guys.
What if this is like... What if the main ghost is like the ghost of some sort of like a magical bad guy who had a team of like criminals. Maybe they were just like magic heisters.
Okay.
Magic A-team, like amoral magic mercenaries, and they died somehow near this school so that their spirits hang out. And in episode 5 or the end of episode 4, it could be the end of episode 4, the professor with the bad spirit in his body is like, wait a minute, I'm in the perfect position right now to bring my entire team back and we can leave.
Love it. Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he's getting the team back together.
Yeah, getting the team.
But it's the bad guy version of it.
Get the team together. Perfect.
Cool.
Alright, what's the middle part of 5?
Maybe the heroes have to find their own way to...
I think one of these two has to be the unpossession of the bully.
Unpossession?
Right?
Bad possession. Oh, no, you mean like in 5 they get the spirit out?
They get the bad spirit out of the bully in 5 as a proof of concept.
Oh, that's not bad. That could be the end of it.
Yeah, I like that. So bully is saved.
Yeah.
Or something.
So then the middle part of it could be them finding a way to do it right.
Yep, getting info.
Yeah, we have I don't know if we can do a montage in this format.
Well, we definitely have to figure out a way for them to understand or to learn how to do it.
I am fine with there being a restricted section of the library. We don't call it that.
No.
But I'm fine with them having to somehow get restricted information from an area they're not allowed to access.
Yeah. Like a tough teacher that has like weird books or something.
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure that
His
out.
personal collection, and then they have to be like, yeah, he's always inviting us to like his weird like student president, like student government club. I never go to. I got elected secretary. I never go. Someone else takes my notes for me. I guess I can go. I got to schmooze.
Yeah, I like that.
And it forces, and then it allows the middle of 5 to be a little bit of a return to life for them, where they have to fake. They have to put on the mask of being back in their proper position of being a member of the student body,
Yep.
and they have to pretend that things are fine.
So then that's part 1 of 6, right?
Has the sometime through 5 we don't see the villain, but they somehow get the bully to join them, and they get the spirit out and put the spirit back in. Some point in 5, do we want to have the evil spirit off screen already have another member of his team resurrected, so that way he's not facing him down by himself at the end?
Yeah, I like that.
Where like the professor shows up to the finale and he's got someone else there, and they're like, "What? The gym teacher or whatever the magic gym is?"
Yeah, and also, so I like that he has another human, but what if also he has like one of his buddies in a different like body, like some kind of animal or something?
What if? So we got okay. I like that. That lets us put a little comedy into the contacting spirit scene where they're like, "Do you have to ride along? I don't want to share." And it's like, "Can we put you in like a? I have a cat. Can I put you in my cat?" And it's like, "Well, you can, but the thing about animal bodies is that it degrades the human spirit until there's nothing left.
Yeah.
So you can, but don't keep me in there for more than 12 hours at a time." And they're like, "All right, it's not worth it." And then the villain has done that.
Yeah, love that.
Cool. So then
So-
does the favorite professor have a pet?
Yes.
That gets the audience against the spirit because people do not like animal stuff.
True. What if he's like a turtle?
A turtle?
Yeah.
There's some comedy with a turtle.
Right, you just carry it around,
You gotta.
but it talks.
What if it should be an animal
Not
with
a
a
bird.
distinct noise?
You know I hate birds.
You do hate birds.
They're drones.
I was gonna say it should be an animal that has a distinctive sound to it, so that way if we're doing voices for the guy in the animal body, he sounds partially like that animal.
Oh, okay, that's
like
cool.
a llama.
What does a llama sound like? Hit me with it.
That's spit.
No, that's a
For
camel.
those of you listening, llamas spit.
I know, but
they're mean.
But you sound like a camel.
I sound like
not
a camel?
llama.
They don't have camel. What do they have in the south? Alligators?
There's there's snakes. There's alligators.
Yeah.
There's probably some kind of panther. Like
In the southern U.S.?
yeah,
We're
there's
sending this to southern U.S.?
Yeah.
Or like, okay.
yeah. I like southern accents.
Okay.
It's one of the few that I can pull off.
Me too.
So,
Y'all.
well, it could be a crocodile.
Could be that would be mean.
Like
He shows up with a crocodile to this final confrontation. They have to deal with a crocodile
Maybe like
with
a
human intelligence.
All right,
I kind of like that.
I don't mind it.
We can easily do a crocodile with our budget. They hiss.
An audible crocodile. Yeah,
Crocodiles hiss.
that's true. Can you think of a better animal?
I mean, aside from stuff like cat or dog, we can't really do... Like, the only other option I would have is, like, chimp. But I don't want to do a
Yeah.
chimp that's too similar to human. I think there's humor in them waking up in, like, an alligator
What about
body.
a little pig?
Pig's pretty good.
Pig is pretty good.
And pigs are physical enough that it can cause trouble for our heroes without being too life-threatening that would get really dark with it.
Yeah, and also there's clopping sounds in the hoof.
It could be a boar, and that way it could worry about its tusks.
All right.
Yeah, he gets put in a... One of the teachers has a pet boar.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll just say pet pig because it's easier to write.
For those of you who are just joining in, my name is Dylan. Zach is at the whiteboard.
That's me.
We are some nobodies, and this is Talking Upstream, in
Some
which we discuss an idea from single-line concept through pitchable, semi-complete concept. We have the whiteboard up here to outline our ideas. You can see that it's becoming increasingly cluttered. And otherwise, the idea of this show is that we just have a discussion between the two of us, and we try to create. We try to take something that did not exist, we try to exert our will on reality, and bring this into something.
Yeah, and you can see some of the stuff that we've already done on somenobodies.com, like
Yeah.
Dylan said. And to get you caught up, the beginning of the show, what we do is we bring 2 ideas. And today the idea that one is Wizarding High School and the problems that go with that. You can follow along to see where we're at, and we're pretty much close to wrapping up the base story.
We're getting some stuff done. We're getting at least the bullet points, which is what you need.
And then what we're going to do after this, once we figure out the story, we're going to kind of pick a scene to develop and to work out. So next week when you come back, you can see how Dylan's writing skills have evolved. And he will write a bit of a scene that me and some nobodies and Dylan himself will try to put together. But
One
okay.
of those fish that still have the tiny legs.
We're getting there.
They're getting
Oh,
there.
you're going to do Darwin on them. Cool. Okay, so now we're close to episode 6. We now know that, I guess, spirits can possess animals.
Mark recommended, what about a sloth?
What does a sloth sound like?
It doesn't, I mean...
I like a sloth for comedic value, but I think it has to be the right...
If we were doing a visual medium, a sloth would be perfect. because
Visually, sloths are ideal.
slowly advancing on it with... It's got fingers, so maybe it's holding a knife.
It's just, or just constantly just digging their nails in their back.
Yeah.
Or just, they're just waiting for it.
Okay, visual sloth, audio pig.
This is a hybrid sloth pig thing?
No, I'm saying... If we do this visually,
Oh,
if
it
it
will
ever
be
gets
sloth.
a visual adaptation, when
Yeah.
Netflix picks this up for distribution,
But we're also going to think about the sloth just to see if
we'll
we
keep
can
sloth
pull it off.
in the brain.
Okay, cool. So now we're down to episode 6, which I think is going to pretty much cap up this isolated
Yeah,
story.
I think 6. I don't think we'll need a 7th, but we can add on. We're not beholden to a number.
So that means that at the end of this episode, we're going to have to solve the issue.
we return
Course correct.
changed. The characters go back to where they were at the start, but changed.
Okay. So return. But changed.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you want to see in the final episode of this? What do you want to hear in the
What do I want to hear? That's something to keep in mind. We planned this as an audio series.
Yeah.
It's a good idea with the number of formats that are out there now and the barrier to entry being relatively, for some of them, not so hard to pierce. It's good to go in with at least an idea of what you're trying to aim for.
Right.
This would also work as a comic book, though I don't know. I can't illustrate.
I'm not great at it. It takes me a long time.
Yeah.
I can make puppets.
We could do a puppet show.
I'll show you guys the puppet.
We'll do a puppet show on a future episode.
That's not bad. We could probably pull it off live.
We could do it. Oh, like
Okay, anyway.
this show, but we're
Next
puppets.
week we're puppets. I like
All
it.
right.
Okay, so we do know that the end. Okay, so
We're
just so
locked
you
in.
know, the reason that we picked 6 episodes was for ease of story arc telling and capsulation of the story. So we thought that if we worked in a 3-arc structure, what we would do is we could do that in episodic form. We could also do that inside each episode. So what we're doing now is breaking each episode down into the thirds to roughly understand where this arc is trying to take us.
What if at the end of 5, when they bring the bully back, he goes, "We got to get to the sports field because he's doing it right now."
So then the bully gives them other information.
He's doing it right now. So the first act is them confronting the teacher, maybe, or at least go into the confrontation.
So this speeds the clock up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least like it is 11:59 out of midnight.
Cool.
And we gotta go. So the first one is them going to the confrontation / starting the confrontation. At the first commercial break, they're like, "Stop right there," and he goes, "Ha ha!" And then we go to a commercial for like some sort of subscription box that we do.
Oh, I can't wait to start that. I'm so excited.
It's just scraps. It's just scraps of cloth and paper.
If you guys want us to start some nobody subscription box, please let me know. It is one of my dreams.
Every month we'll send you a box of kindling.
Oh, and like a full podcast.
All right. So Act 1 of the final episode is the confrontation.
Confrontation.
I think Act 2 should be... Do we want it to end on a false positive and then, like, do a scouring of the Shire style sort of thing where it's like, you brought me back, and they have to, like, test him to see if they actually did, and then they go... And then maybe the medium can, like... Well, this was for my master's thesis, so I guess there's no other way to test it. Goes into their brain.
So then 2 would be... The second part of this is
We do a mind mansion battle. Like Stephen King style Mind Manor.
mind battle.
Maybe you add some echo or reverb on the audio. We have like a faint echo on all the dialogue or something.
Well, I do have a real wizard's wand from Harry Potter world, so
Okay.
we can just use that.
It's plastic.
Not in spirit.
I'm not impressed.
You haven't seen it.
I haven't. I don't need to.
Okay, so cool audio mind battle.
Mind battle.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think we can probably leave that bullet point at mind battle right now.
Oh yeah.
But it works.
We gotta work on that.
I say we end this positively.
Yeah.
Maybe the medium gets a little bit of a shadow tinge from dealing with it, but that'll simply be like, it's not going to be like that Stephen King adaptation we watched on HBO.
No. Oh, the final scene?
Yeah.
The Outsider?
It's not going to be the end credits of The Outsider.
Awful.
Spoiler alert, but it's been about a year, so you should, whatever.
Yeah, Outsider, phenomenal show.
End it during the final credits, first credit sequence of the final episode.
Yep, do not watch the
We'll talk about this more when we get our own film and TV discussion show.
Yeah, and if you want to see some nobodies talk about a lot of movies, talk to IBM.TV.
Leave a comment.
Let them know we have some ideas. Anyway, so we're going to get back to the end of 6, so we're going to do a mind battle.
Yeah.
And it is...
I think it works.
It's working with subtle ripples.
Yeah.
So, positive...
I think this ends on a mostly positive note. I don't necessarily want to go super dark on this.
Cool. And if we do a stinger, we'll just throw something in there later
Yeah.
on. Cool. Okay, so we have a positive ending after the mind battle, which is after confrontation. That's
One of
the
them gets a
final.
call from Simon Vanderbilt. It's like, I want you to join my team.
Oh, dude, he is. He's a superhero. If you guys don't know who Simon Vanderbilt is, please look him up on Facebook. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the base story of what we're trying to do. That's definitely a capsulated story.
I think that's pretty good bullet points. So yeah, you can see how a circle-in-circle way of dealing with act breaks helps build something that is actually pretty functional. You have your main 3 points, give them a rise and a fall, a rise and a fall, rise and a fall, and then within those individual episodes, give yourself 3 main kind of like scene ideas, and you can add transition scenes if you want. You're not locked into this. But it gives you nice little like peaks within a peak. And that's what really kind of drives stories that people connect with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to make people want to listen in to find out what's going to happen. And with the way that Dylan breaks down these stories, if you think these are 1 hour episodes, then you got 20 minutes roughly to kind of fill in the gaps of what this means. So partial possession, you have 20 minutes to figure that out, which isn't really that much time once you start doing some stuff.
The established structures, while they may seem familiar, they are familiar. They're not worn out. They're not tired, and they make your job as a writer way easier.
Yeah.
Because I just pulled from what I learned in undergrad on this, and what I learned from watching Star Wars or Lord of the Rings does it. Anything that's in a trilogy.
Yeah.
Harry Potter also kind of does it with the rising through the first 3 books. The climax at when Voldemort gets resurrected. Spoilers, I guess. Does anybody know or not know?
They have to.
They have to know.
Wait.
Anyway.
But
And then
Voldemort come back as 4.
yeah, it's in the middle, but then the peaks, and then it peaks again.
Oh, of the full series. Yeah,
of
gotcha.
the full
Gotcha.
series. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now we have a full story that we
Yeah.
can start working on. If we were good at storyboarding, we would start drawing this up.
Yeah.
But
We also don't have space for that. We'll get another whiteboard.
yeah, Dylan's going to get a whiteboard behind him soon just to start working that out.
I
He
do
does
have
have a
this
tiny one that he doesn't use.
I do use it, kind of.
That's true. You almost at 3. Okay, so I guess what we should do now, we have our characters. I think maybe we should start working on what scene we're going to work on for next week.
Yeah. What would you consider one of the definitive scenes on this?
I mean, last week we definitely went with the end of episode 1, which is a very
did.
cool cliffhanger.
We did.
What would that be for this show?
I like either that one, or I like, and this is a little further in the show, I like the scene where the medium character actually gets in contact with the spirit.
Okay,
But-
cool. So that'd be the first time. So technically, that scene would be the first time that the spirit has spoken to the group outside of what the
First
medium.
time the professor has contacted any of them in any concrete way.
And then he can give them some quick
Yeah.
exposition of what he's been going through. I like that. I mean, those are definitely the two highlight scenes.
Because I feel like this is something we are going to eventually produce.
Yeah, we're going to work on this. So I say it's either the cliffhanger of 1 or the cliffhanger of the halfway point.
So, as someone who's written stuff before, it feels like I'm always cautious jumping. Sometimes people say write chronologically. You have a scene in mind, write that scene. If it doesn't come first, write that scene anyway. I'm hesitant to do that, partially because I think Quentin Tarantino has a very good point, where he writes very solidly up to the halfway point. And at that point, you stop and you reevaluate where your characters have gone. Because at that point, your characters have taken on a mind of their own. That's not an exaggeration.
True. I mean, once we start writing this out, this might not be what happens here.
Yeah.
We might find out through character development or a better idea that this should get bumped up or bumped back. I understand that we shouldn't do something towards the end.
I made drastic changes to my novel when I hit the third way point, the halfway point. When I hit the 3/4 point, I went back and made changes to the start, which is just that's just the process of the life cycle of a story like this.
Now, I think we might want to do the death.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
I think so.
And it gives us some wiggle room to move some stuff around later on. Although doing a scene really doesn't necessarily.
No, and this is a proof of concept scene for the viewers and the listeners if you are listening to it in the future, which if you're listening to it is now. But we're not going to get into the weirdness of time as a construct.
It's definitely not a go.
I mean, not yet. We haven't done it yet.
True. Okay,
This scene is a go.
We're going to work on the teacher's death scene.
Yeah, I think so. Professor Death. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, what a cool band name.
Yeah. It's math rock.
Professor Death.
Prof Death.
Prof Death.
Death MD. Death PhD.
My name's Dr. Death.
When
DDS.
When Adult Swim picks us up and we give them a 5-minute bumper, it's going to be Death PhD.
I love it. Okay, so the professor's death is going to be, I guess, the start of the prank.
Yeah.
To the death, and that would be the end of that, right?
I think so.
So
this. I don't think we're establishing a trend where we always do the cliffhanger thing as the spec script for this, but I think this makes sense. But I think definitely so. It needs to start off with no real hint of what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think we're doing pranks on teachers.
Yep.
So we start with them setting up the prank, or at least ready for it to go off, and we end with them reacting to the fact that it did indeed work better than they expected.
Perfect.
So what kind of magical prank would you pull on a professor that you think that unexpectedly could go badly?
I would change their voice,
Okay.
which could make them choke. Like it could tighten up their throat.
I think it needs to be sudden. I think the death needs to be sudden.
Okay.
Only because, like, if I am magic
Yeah.
and I see someone choking,
You're probably gonna fix it. Sure. So wait, do you have a suggestion?
my immediate thought was like anvil drop, but I don't know how that can be unless
What about? Oh no, that's gross. Never
I've got
mind.
an idea.
Hit me with it.
Initially, the idea is to have someone teleport a water balloon or something gross into the air above the professor from a predetermined location.
Nice. It teleports into his head.
Yikes!
No.
I was thinking, ugh,
The wrong thing teleports.
The wrong thing teleports.
Okay.
Whether so it's my job. It's one person's job to get the professor in a spot. It can be Cool Slacker.
Yeah.
No, it'll be Bookworm, I think, because he calls the professor over to, ask him about some sort of study question. Maybe they're in a common area. Maybe they're outside in like the garden or something. Mm-hmm. Cool Slacker is there to establish the point of origin where it's going to teleport.
I like that.
Homeschooler is in the kitchen trying to get a bucket of garbage, and instead she teleports like a stove or something on top of it.
Cool.
She misses, or someone jolts her. Homeschool student woman. We've been using female pronouns for the character.
Well, you use female pronouns for everybody except the bully, which was a very definitive
Have
him. You said that.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that it's cool that the homeschool student is a female.
Okay.
The cool slacker, you don't see that character as a female, so I think that's very cool. Bookworm should be.
I wasn't bullied by girls in high school, so.
Who? What?
What?
I wasn't.
I'm projecting.
I was popular. Bookworm is probably going to be a bully because
I've seen that picture of
I
you.
know.
I know.
It was the 90s.
Oh, it was the 90s, and you can tell.
Okay, Bookworm is probably going to be you, so we're going to say it's a bully.
Sure.
The medium, who's a TA, they were in a relationship with the slacker, so let's say that's also a bully. Professor, undetermined right now. We have to look at our crew and see who wants to
Yeah,
play this character.
I think so. I'm imagining the Professor as a man only because I compared him to Robin Williams.
Although a bully is usually a boy in shows.
Yeah.
So let's flip that also.
We could.
Yeah. All right,
She's
so
a
that's
mean
it.
girl.
Yeah, it's a mean girl.
All right.
I like that. So female.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. And then the Professor's probably male just because
Yeah.
Harrison's going to want to play a character.
We can't. Are we starting to write characters for people now?
I think so.
All right. I'm fine with that.
I think between Matt and Harrison and Suzanne, we know who their voices, what they can do with their range. So I think that's cool. Okay, so the scene that we're going to show you guys next week, the one that Dylan's going to work on the script for throughout the week, is going to be what we're going to consider right now to be the end of the episode 1, which is going to be like our trailer. This will be the scene that we're going to pitch to people to entice them to want to watch more. And the scene that we chose is going to be the Professor's death through a little bit of a prank situation gone wrong through teleportation.
So let's continue to develop the scene, the sequences a little bit.
Okay.
So this is the last scene of the show. So I'm imagining we show this without telling the audience what they've set up. We do the whole here's what we do, fade out.
Yeah.
Commercial break for hosting website.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining podcast cliches. I don't know.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, sell us your advertisements.
Sell us anyway.
Sell us anything. Pay us.
Word.
So let's see. It's the garden, or the greens, the grounds, the quad, whatever we're gonna call it.
Okay.
Bookworm calls the professor over.
The yard.
The yard, sure. Bookworm calls the professor over. Hey, I had some questions about our summoning homework the other night.
Yeah.
Professor goes over, they chat a little bit. We hear maybe Cool Slacker is doing some sort of...
Mark suggested we prank him with some food. Maybe give him some food that could take him out. But that does seem like it would take a little bit of time.
Yeah. Maybe the idea was they were going to teleport some food above his head, so he's covered in spaghetti or something.
Oh, I like that.
So CS plan is to teleport spaghetti. Give yourself a nice spaghetti. Knees weak, arms are palms are sweaty.
Yeah,
I ruined that joke by
That's
not knowing
okay.
the lyrics.
I don't think anybody's gonna get anyway.
No.
Or some sort of snack. I haven't heard.
Cheeky spaghetti.
I've heard you were very popular. That's
One,
true.
two.
Grad papers. Do you have any grad papers?
With me?
Yeah, Mark wants to know if you have any grad papers. He
Oh,
wants to
grad papers. I have
Yeah.
my thesis, which is my novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was more of an art student.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I can kind of see
you
it.
do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do what you give.
So let's see. So I have homeschoolers in the kitchen. Homeschoolers are supposed to find the spaghetti.
This is before the garden scene.
I figured this could be... well,
I think if it opens with people talking about pranks, that's pretty compelling.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, well, because if
then
I
you
was
could-
imagining this as a visual script,
Right.
which I wrote today's script as, it's it would cut between the green, the yard, and her in the kitchen.
No, I agree.
Okay.
But I think that if you open in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
you get magic talk immediately. Well, I guess if you open their way, you still get as well. But I think that you start in the kitchen, you learn about the pranks, then you cut to the... Well,
Maybe they're scouting the kitchen out beforehand.
yeah.
That could be a scene earlier on where
You know,
it's kind of
actually-
the build up to fun.
Yeah. I do like the scene of the bookworm starting, because then you think that it's a different scene to start with.
Okay.
If you start with pranks, you know what it's going to be.
Okay.
Cool. I like what you're doing.
So, Cool Slacker is waiting nearby. Maybe the rival appears and distracts him, and is or maybe he's trying to avoid the rival's gaze. He was originally supposed to be nearby.
Yeah.
And then he's or maybe the rival is there kind of heckling him because they're competing to prank professors.
Cool.
So the rival is heckling him or distracting him in some way.
Rival's the bully, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am using them interchangeably.
It's okay.
Every rival I've ever had bullied me.
I just want to understand.
Yeah.
Are we rivals?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Not yet. Not till the story needs it.
Yeah. We're not gonna.
That's for a different podcast.
That's a different podcast.
All right, let's keep going.
Rival, the bully, distracts... I'm going to fix that. The bully distracts Cool Slacker somehow, so he's a little less on aim. Let's say, for the sake of magic, they have to form a link between the two spots where it will teleport anything in a certain region onto the professor.
Okay.
So it's like I have to make like a 1.5 foot circle around the spaghetti plate, and then he has to choose a 1.5. He has to choose a point above the professor that it'll teleport to.
Okay.
Something causes homeschooler to mess up, and instead of making a 1.5 foot sphere, she teleports like a kitchen table.
Cool.
Something big.
Yeah.
Maybe like maybe a cauldron.
Yeah, or something that sounds like something.
A cauldron is thematically appropriate.
Yeah, I like that.
And then it gives us a good sound effect because can you imagine the sound
Yeah.
of clang?
Yeah.
And then, so what distracts her in the kitchen? Does she have someone pursuing her romantically? And she has to,
It could be the bully. It could that could be
okay.
as easy as that.
Is the bully
So let's say she's setting it up, and as she's doing something, the bully pops in, doesn't get to finish setting up, which is why the teleportation goes wrong.
Okay, that's not bad. Is the bully like following her around because he's jealous of the time? Are we doing any sort of romance in this?
I don't think not yet.
Are we can we hint? Do we want to hint at it? Like maybe the bully is pursuing her and she is not interested, and we have kind of like that modern telling of a romance where she's like, "I'm not interested." Like,
I guess
take it. Please.
I guess if we throw a subtle bit of interest, it'll make the turn easier too.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, and then it ties in with later on where it's
Comes
like,
down into when the
Yeah.
bully's coming back. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's cool.
But I like the idea that the bully is kind of following her around a little bit. It's like,
We doing?
how do you get? You found your way into the kitchen. I like to sneak in here too and grab a snack sometimes. And then she
Yeah.
goes, "Leave me alone." Why? Because I'm doing something. And then she does her thing, and she goes, "Uh-oh," and he goes, "What?" And then we do a scene transition to the yard, and we hear the bookworm asking him, and then shing, clang, and then Cool Slacker and Bookworm probably just go,
Oh boy.
"Oh no!"
Yeah.
And then, welcome to our magic show. This
Love
is the
it.
end of the theme song.
Oh,
It's a placeholder.
we gotta make that.
It's a placeholder.
Yeah, record that. Yeah, I love that. I think that's cool and
Okay.
compelling, and I think that's definitely something I'd want to see.
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay, so we got about 10-ish minutes
Yep.
left. What are some else? Do you want to work on some of these characters?
Yeah. Let's.
We still got to break down kind of how this episode 1
Yeah,
is
the
going to go
beginning is a
down.
little vague.
Yeah.
So let's see. Episode 1, we are doing the introduction of the character.
Mm-hmm.
How do we want her? What do we want her first scene where we open the show? Do we want her in the professor's class?
I think so. I think if we have the professor introducing that character,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe suggesting what style of magic they do.
Do we want
I think if you introduce
her visiting office hours, where she goes, "Hi, I'm new. I was in your class earlier today.
Oh, okay.
I've been homeschooled," and we get a little one-on-one where we establish that they have like a mutual
Yeah,
respect. or
and it
something
could
where you-
be almost stupid questions like, "What style of magic do you do? Where were you schooled?
I was
What's your
thinking, like,
secondary?"
we could get a little bit of conversation where he goes, "You know, I know you're homeschooled, but your technique is actually kind of refined. Like, I'm really impressed with your parents." And she goes, "Well, you know, my parents were professors over at different school." And he goes, "Oh, okay, I see. So and maybe her parents were professors at like a snooty private school before they went freelance or something.
Yeah.
So now she has to go to public school or technical school, as the case may be.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's cool.
So
So then
scene
it's,
one, scene 1, episode 1.
I'm out of space.
Good. We're doing it right. Office hour visit.
Right here. Scene 1, episode 1. Okay, so we're saying office visit. I think that's cool.
Office hours.
That's
That's after the first day of class of the year.
Yep, that's a quick introduction to the world. It's a quick rule setting. You can find out things about the school that way. I think that's very
Yeah.
clever.
All right. Episode 1, scene 2. I think considering we're doing hour-long episodes and considering it is an audio thing, I think we continue this pace and we do not hesitate to introduce the rest of the triangle.
Yeah, I completely, because we also got to introduce the pranks. Some even like in the background of a scene, but I think it's important to introduce pranks quickly.
What if she leaves his office and she interrupts a prank from Cool Slacker and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, love that.
And then he uses that as an opportunity to like kind of weasel her into their group.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're new. I watched you practice a little bit. You're rough around the edges, but if you had someone to show you around, and he's not being romantic here. He's just being like, hey, you're new. We need a new third.
Yeah.
we operate on that triangle principle where all good groups need 3 triangles. It's the strongest shape. You'll learn about it in geomancy.
You've seen Harry Potter, you know.
I don't think we reference pop culture in this.
I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
You think so?
I do. Because then they
Okay.
can talk about how bad Harry Potter is and where they went wrong with certain magics. Or a better magic. Well, okay, we'll stick to that.
You've read the...
Maybe Star Wars.
What if they make reference to, like... I mean, you've read those books. We don't do magic like that. We do magic like this.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's really impressive looking.
Yeah, wow.
If only I could see it. What do you mean? Oh, you blinded me.
Yeah. Tune into the podcast. Cool. Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay.
And then the end of that is going to be the second prank, which is going to be the teacher's death.
Potentially. I don't know that these are going to be entirely 10-minute scenes. Now, admittedly, we have seen, when we record for Silicon Angels, we do rely heavily on improv.
Wait, what do you think about Mark's comment?
Maybe homeschoolers spent too much time watching one of those corner cooking shows. Potentially. It could be that she's watched enough cooking shows that when they're like, all right, it's your turn to come up with a prank. If you want to really be a part of this team. And she goes, all right, we teleport spaghetti onto his head. And they're like, all right.
Yeah, I like
It's inoffensive, it's not violent, it's easy to clean up, and it's funny.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it goes badly.
Yeah, I like that she actually takes the time to make the food instead of magically
She
producing
makes
food. She makes the food.
I like the comedy behind it, but I wonder if... Because how I imagined it, like she's in the distance and she's waiting for someone to ready the spaghetti.
Ready. You're really trying to work that in there.
I don't know.
It's getting sweaty now.
Ugh. I already did that bit.
Okay, so we have roughly, 6 characters in here.
Yeah.
School background. Very cool sound effects, which shouldn't be too hard to reproduce.
I think scene 3 in episode 1 should be not a breather episode, but kind of like we could do that. So going to Mean Girls, when she's going through the cafeteria and she is narrating what each group is. It's cool Slacker being like, yeah, you got your diviners, you got your evokers, you got your thaumaturgists, Bookworm and I, we practice whatever magic, and it's kind of like that scene in any sort of college movie where they're going through the campus and you see the groups of people. We could do something similar to that. I think it would be important. I think it would be important to have that at least as like a way to get to know the school.
Yeah.
And then have scene 4 maybe. I think we go 5 scenes in this episode.
Or 6.
Or 6. Where scene 4 could be a reason. We show the professor's class and we see why everybody loves him.
Okay.
And then scene 5 can be, hey, you gotta pull this prank. When are we doing this? We're doing it tonight. All right, cool, let's do it. And then we skip time to the actual prank going wrong, and then we have let's see. So that, assuming an hour-long episode, 5 scenes total, looking at about 11, 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And we can easily do this at if we hit 45 to an hour, I don't think we should worry about going too far down, too low. Silicon Angels expanded from 22 minutes at its lowest to 56 at its highest.
Yeah, we have almost an hour.
Yeah.
It's the biggest one. That was an accident, but a cool one.
I mean, hey, it works out.
Yeah. That was a good
And this
episode.
is going to be scripted, and it's going to rely a lot less on improv, but everybody's going to bring their own character to it.
Yeah.
So, this is not going to be like our touchstone scripts for Silicon Angels. This is going to be a
script.
scripted series where we're like, hey, add any sort of idioms you like, add any mannerisms you like, add any tics. But for the most part, you're following the script and sticking to it.
Yep.
All
Love
right.
it.
So, next week, we are having a guest on. We are going to do the Professor Death scene where things go badly. We are going to have 2 more ideas.
2 more ideas next week.
Yeah. We're going to do this again.
Yeah, we're going to keep doing this until we run out of ideas somehow.
Yeah. Or until Netflix picks us up.
But yeah, next week, 2 more ideas. Listen to more of Dylan's script writing. Do we have anything else that you want to work on this?
I think this is kind of a good spot. We got a good board this week.
It's definitely a good spot.
You can always find images of our board on our Instagram and our Facebook pages.
That's
We'll
true.
be posting those after every show. You can find this on our Instagram. Any of our audio channels. We have the audio of this as an episode. You can find it on our YouTube and IBM TV's YouTube. Thank you for having us, as always.
Very special thank you to IBM TV. They've been super great about helping us out. They love our ideas, which is very cool, so we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And want to throw out a quick thanks to Harrison Webb for showing up today.
Always.
For Suzanne Grimmer for being an awesome actor, like always. Once again, IBM TV for this.
Mm-hmm.
And
thank you, Zach.
Hey, thank you, Dylan. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Go to somenobodies.com if you want to see more of this or anything else we do. Please let IBM TV know if you like how we're doing this or any kind of ideas or suggestions.
Leave a comment.
And let us know.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
And he said to wait.